Hi management class, Dr. Bowen here. Just wanted to give you a quick overview of Chapter 7. This is the first of 2 video lectures on Chapter 7. It is a quite substantive chapter about how to segment your publics, so I wanted to break it down into a few key components. First, let's think about a couple of definitions. What are stakeholders and what are publics? Stakeholders are those groups that are affected by the organization or affected as a consequence of it doing business. And then publics tend to arise on their own. They have a common interest that links them together. So normally the organizational managers define stakeholders. We know who they are because they're connected to the organization over time. Publics can be sporadic and they can arise and then disintegrate on their own as well. So I wanted to bring to your attention the Stakeholder Typology, which is figure 7.1. It has 3 concepts that are very helpful when we talk about who are stakeholders and who will we need to talk to regarding specific issues. The first is power, the second is legitimacy, and the third is urgency. So if you combine power, legitimacy, and urgency, and think about segmenting the different types of stakeholders that can appear within that 3-ring typology, this is what you have. I hope you can see this diagram. It is in the Bowen Rollin Martin's 2019 book. But this is important because knowing the types of stakeholders can help you segment those publics so that you know what type of communication they need, what level of information, how much communication they want, how sophisticated their interest is, and so on. If you understand that and you know the type of stakeholder group that you're dealing with, you can segment them for the appropriate type of communication and then plan that strategically to reach groups that need that information so that you're not sending out irrelevant information or information they don't care about or something that's just too much. Obviously, definitive stakeholders are the most important group. Right in the middle of our rings, you can see our definitive stakeholders. They're going to need the most issue communication on many facets of organizational operations. But don't forget, dangerous and dominant stakeholders also have a lot of power, legitimacy, and urgency depending on the group. And how much power or urgency they have is going to shift a little bit in terms of the information you need to provide them to keep them from becoming an adversarial public or an adversarial stakeholder group, which you absolutely do not want. It's to be avoided if at all possible, and normally you can solve the information needs of each type of group through segmenting them and knowing what their interests are that connect them to the organization. So that's the first part of Chapter 7. I hope you'll join me for the second half of this video in just a moment.